Welcome to another rapid fire 3-minute reel. This one's on color flow Doppler. There was a recent article in the Green Journal in May of this year that came out called Clinical Expert Series Update on Management and Outcome of Monochorionic Twin Pregnancies. In there, they took an in-depth look at use of color flow Doppler. They determined that there remains debate about its routine use because of a paucity of data and uncertainty of how to manage Doppler abnormalities if detected in otherwise uncomplicated twins. One argument against its use is that abnormal umbilical Dopplers are detected in up to 20% of monochorionic diamniotic twins and spontaneously normalize in more than 70% of those cases. At 16 to 20 weeks gestation, the presence of an isolated, absent, or reversed end diastolic flow in the umbilical artery has been associated with a subsequent development of fetal growth restriction in 36% and twin-twin transfusion syndrome in 14%. So a very large false positive rate, poor predictive value. Both are those things, TTTS and growth restriction, are easily detected with 2D ultrasound. In a comparison international guidelines on the management of twins, only 24% recommended umbilical artery Dopplers at every sonogram. Yet, in a recent publication, the Society for Maternal Fetal Medicine now supports umbilical artery Doppler studies every 2 weeks in monochorionic twins, beginning at 16 weeks of gestation until delivery. Is anyone surprised? So a lot of money to be made there with color flow Doppler. And I would ask this question: have outcomes improved since we're using it so much? The other question that no one seems to be asking in the medical world is it safe? And looking back to 1993, an article in the Lancet that was called Effects of Frequent Ultrasound During Pregnancy, a Randomized Controlled Trial. Despite widespread application of ultrasound imaging and Doppler flow blood studies, the effects of their frequent and repeated use in pregnancy have not been evaluated in controlled trials. Does that sound familiar? Let's use something and then find out if it's safe, or not even look. In this study, there were 1,415 women selected at random to receive ultrasound imaging and continuous Doppler flow studies at 18, 24, 28, 34, and 38 weeks, called the intensive group, and 1,419 women to receive single ultrasound imaging at 18 weeks, called the regular group. Outcome data was obtained from 99% of the women in the study. The only difference between the two groups was a significantly higher rate of intrauterine growth restriction in the intensively ultrasounded group. While it is possible that this finding was a chance effect, it is also plausible that frequent exposure to ultrasound may have influenced fetal growth. Repeated prenatal ultrasound imaging and Doppler flow examination should be restricted to those women to whom the information is likely to be of clinical benefit. This was said back in 1993. Crickets. So please, when you have an ultrasound, request no color flow Doppler or 3D imaging unless you are told a cogent reason why it's necessary. Thanks, everybody.